Welcome to my Web University free education videos. On this video I'm going to demonstrate how to work with a VirtualBox, and basically I'm going to minimize this window and I'm going to open up a VirtualBox here. As you can see, we have running or installed a VM. So let's see if this one shows up first. And once you see the Linux Rocky VM and that is configured here, it is installed and it's powered off current state. But I don't need it, I just install it for a demo purpose, which I did already. And now I'm going to remove it so I can practice with some other tools, so you learn how to work with VirtualBox, creating VMs, removing them, and as well as cloning them. So I will demo all of those steps there. At the same time, on this video I'm going to uninstall the VirtualBox itself, because the version that we have currently running is 6.1 and then the subversion is 6.132. I want to just install the 6.134 from the Oracle website. As you can see, if I just go close this one and then look at the Oracle website for this one, you can tell that the version that is available currently on Oracle website is 6.134. So this screen right here tells us that we have a VirtualBox on Oracle website, and then the latest version that I can click on the download latest version, and it is showing 6.134. As you can see here, we have the 6.134 version available on Windows platform, Mac OS X, Solaris 10, and then Solaris 11, and also on Ubuntu versions, and Debian and other platforms as well, OpenSUSE and everything. So for Ubuntu, you can see that we have Ubuntu 18.04, 18.10, 19.4, and then Ubuntu 16 and Ubuntu 19, Ubuntu 20.04, but it doesn't show anything for Ubuntu 22.04. So sometimes these packages are upward compatible as well, and I'm going to just download the 20.04, the one that is latest here for that one. So I'm going to go to this directory, and I look at the cat etc os-release of this host that I'm running. The server right now is Ubuntu 22.04 long-term support, and the code name is Jammy Jellyfish. This came out on April 21st of this year, and the calendar currently is May, and today's date is Sunday, May 8th. I already went to download directory last time on May 7. If you can see, let me clear the screen and do virtualhost.debian. You can see the Debian file is 6.1.6.134, but if I just do apt list VirtualBox, you can see the one that I have installed is 6.132, which we also found out from the VirtualBox by looking at the help here about a page. It was showing 6.1. So on the command line, we can also use, for example, the Debian package commands, and Debian pkg command, and then -L would be like VirtualBox. I could get the list of it. -S would give me like the status and details of the search for the VirtualBox. You can see all the details are here, and the current version that is installed is 6.132. But again, the one that version that is here on the downloads is VirtualBox 6.134, which is there. I could use that one, or I could just go ahead download this version that is here, 6.19, and this one. So at this time, if I just move this one in case if I had downloaded the other version. I could just go and look for this version, but again, install.debian, and these are Debian binary package. So I'm gonna try the May 7 before I download the other one, just in case if I had clicked in yesterday on this version 20.04 rather than this. So it should be okay. If it does work, that's all I need. At this time, in order to do this one, let me minimize um, these screens. And so all I'm doing is that at this time, I'm going to even minimize this one. I'm going to work on the Linux Rocky first. I'm going to remove this VM. In order to remove it, I just go back in this directory on my clear screen and then do a pwd. I need to go to the directory where I have virtual boxes. So right here, if I just do cd by itself, I'm on my home directory. ls-l, or actually ls will show me the virtual box is one of the directory. And if I cd to virtual box star, and this is basically take me there. Then I do ls-l, and then there's a Linux Rocky. So if I cd to Linux Rocky, then I do ls-l, you can see the files are there. One of the files that is the largest one is virtual disk image. By default, when you create dynamically allocated virtual disk image, the actual size that you gave, let's say I gave 50 gig or 100 gig, the 100 gig will not be created right here. So if I do disk usage minus sh star, you can see the VDI is only 5 gig. But because the nature of hypervisor VirtualBox is that as you use it, then it will grow on the size. If you just initially set up to 50 gig, it's not going to just create a 50 gig of your disk space. So if I just do df-h, I can tell that on this machine, the root partition, I have about 832 gig available. That means I can go ahead remove this one or keep the files or something. And in order for me, because I'm not gonna create a clone of it, since I'm going to upgrade this one, I'm going to remove completely the VirtualBox from here first, and then I will just use the Debian package manager dbkng to just install the one that I downloaded. So in order to do this one, as you can see on this directory, clear the screen, pwd, these files are there. And the minute I just go ahead here and I right click on it and say remove, then it's gonna say, do you want to remove the VirtualBox only, remove only, or and delete all files? I want to delete all files. I don't want to just do rm minus rf on that directory. So I want VirtualBox to just take care of it. At this time I have done that one. Now this directory is empty. ls minus the same directory that was there. So I go here now, the directory Linux Rocky is also gone. So the parent directory, because I was cd to it, it was still showing the Linux Rocky, but the Linux Rocky is already updated. So all I have is empty stuff here. But going back here, because of this screen VirtualBox is here and everything, I can still do apt list VirtualBox, and I still get the same information that I have the 6.132, and I can still come in on the GUI and just look at it. I just deleted one VM. I can just say go ahead, create a new VM, and then I can start off going with another VM and do the same thing with installing this one. For example, if I want to go like a Windows 10 operating system, let's say call it Windows 10, and then all these things, all I have to do is assign this one, and I'm just going to temporarily create it. But I have the ISO image, and there I could just go ahead and install it. But I want to show you a default how fast you can create a VirtualBox here. So I created like this, create a virtual hard disk image, and then at this time I say go ahead, create a virtual disk image, there, and then assign it dynamically, allocate it, and then the size, it says 50 gig. I say, well, go ahead and do 50 gig. And notice that as soon as I create this one, now the virtual disk image comes. But if I want to start it, I have to mount the ISO image, and then I click on the start here, and then select the ISO image that I have downloaded from the download directory. Like here, I could go, select it, and then I just go say add, and then go to Windows 10 in this ISO image, and then I say go ahead, choose that one, and then by clicking on choose here, now my virtual VM is ready to do the installation. But I'm not going to start it. I'm just going to cancel this one because I just wanted to demonstrate how easy it is to just create it. Now I'm going to just power off because I don't need to save the state. I'm going to later on, when I build the 6.134, I'm going to start using that one, and then I will build VMs on it. So at this time, notice that directory of the virtual machine here, Windows 10 just came out. And then if I just go here, Windows 10, and then I look at it, those images are there. And this time I'm going to remove this one, and don't remove the content of the directory. I'll do that one with Linux command. You can do both of these options using the virtual machine like you did. If you want to do it on the GUI, much easier by just clicking delete all, it will take care of it for you. But if you say remove only, so now the VM is gone, and then the directories is still there, and the directories is still here. So I'm going to remove everything here. I could say remove minus RF star. I could do it on the parent directory for Windows 10. Then I don't have to remove the directory here, but I'm going to do it in two steps. CD, and now the Windows 10 is there. Then I say RM Windows 10, and then there you go. Now clear the screen and nothing is there. So this is just as simple as that, and then you can do the same thing with other version of things. You please make sure that whenever you want to delete something, you want to delete packages or I'm sorry, VMs that are no longer needed. This is for demo purpose only, to show you how it works, and then I'm deleting it, but you have to be very careful not to work on an environment that you need the files or the data. Excuse me. So at this time, the virtual machine is clean, and it is ready for me to delete the virtual machine as well. So if I just want to delete the virtual machine, but before I do that, let me just do a dpkg Debian package manager -L, and then I look at VirtualBox. See, the VirtualBox that is installed currently is showing you 6.132 that is there, and then I could also do a -L to list all the files there. Every files that are related to that package, it will show here. As you can see, it is there. I can do a pipe more for one page at a time, and I could just go through the pages and then see it. And the other command I could show you is the search for the VirtualBox. So something like this, if you just look at it, it tells you exactly the package name installed already. It shows that the status is installed, and then the installed size and all the details are here, the website and everything. So the version that we are running 6.132. And then I'm going to just basically remove this package from I could do use the dpkg or the apt. In this case, I'm going to use the apt. So as you notice that if I just do apt list and then say VirtualBox, it tells me that I have this VirtualBox installed, and this is currently in running state. So what I want to do is remove it. In order to do that one, I could do apt remove VirtualBox, but this one may require a sudo privilege. So if you install it with without the sudo, yeah, you can delete it without it. but I'm just going to provide the sudo just to be on the safe side. Otherwise it's going to prompt me and then I have to type it again. So that's okay. And let's see, the password I have to type in here. It's up to you how you want to do it. And let me just go ahead, remove it right now. And it's basically removing the package. When the package is gone, this interface will be closed, and then also this icon on the right side, on the left side, will be disappearing. As you can see, the icon already got removed from this area, and this app, I could have minimized it and that would be taking care of it, but sometimes it takes a little bit time because this was in use, and then that may just wait for me to close it. And so or just run it, because we're doing with sudo, at some point it's gonna do force it. So I'm going to just close it to help it out faster. Once this one is done, let me just move this one up here. Once again, please don't forget to subscribe at my Web University Free Education videos, where I have hundreds of videos for your education purpose. You can watch those videos, whether it's programming language, Unix, Linux, Windows, PowerShell, anything that I'm putting at Apache Web Server, Awk, Knock, Python, C++, and even I have some videos in Farsi language for the Afghan community, so and the Persian community that are interested in educational, and they are happy to learn. So please subscribe to the channel so you could watch all those videos, and then make your nice comments, and don't forget to subscribe and make comments so I can improve wherever is needed. Thank you so much. So I'm going to minimize this window, and then this one is still at 80%. I'm going to just give it time, and I'm going to pause the video if this one doesn't go fast enough. So right now it looks like it is doing it, and then that is done. So now if I do the same command with the apt list VirtualBox, it's going to say that it is residual-config, which means it's not installed. It is available on the repository of apt, that if I want a version 6.134, all I have to do is sudo apt install VirtualBox. This would install it, but I'm not gonna do that one. The reason it says residual, there's a file called etc apt sources.txt .list. That file, if I look at the content of etc or Apt stands for Advanced Packaging Toolkit. It's one of the package managers for Red Hat. Another one is a Snap. Another one is Debian Package PKG command. But apt is like a front end for apt-get and apt-cache and Debian Package Manager. Snap is a self-contained package manager. So apt versus Snap. The apt is basically all the repositories that are on this file called sources.list. On this file, if I look at the grep minus v, and then just show me the files that has no comment in front of them. That means that these are all the URL or the directive that is showing on the repository for Ubuntu stuff that I'm doing it, whether I'm doing it for security purpose or for other packages. And this is the list of the package that is available on the site. But at this time we already know the VirtualBox was there, and we just need to install a newer version on that I have already downloaded. So let me go to the downloads directory and clear my screen again. pwd ls-ld virtualbox.debian, and you can see file store.debian. that file is actually a Debian binary package format. So I'm going to do sudo, and then I type in, if I don't type in the sudo in front of the command, I can get into root and I could run it, all of the commands without just putting sudo every time. But it's safer to just making sure that whenever you use a sudo, you use sudo. Otherwise, don't get into root forever. And so let's get this one sudo, and then we say debian pkg, and then dash I. You could do dash I or dash dash install. This is equivalent to dash I. And then you could just say vert, and then as soon as you press tab, automatically it's going to take that name there. So that's going to try to install it, the version, and then it says running VMs found. VirtualBox is currently running. Please close all the. So somehow the VirtualBox was still running on the background. Let's just say OK on this one, and then we come back and see what is the VirtualBox process that are still running. Yeah, there's some process that are still on the system in hanging state, because at the time when we did the help or info or going to the website of Oracle, it just made some connections there from that process. So what I'm going to do is kill all these processes there. Let me clear my screen. Since these are in a hanging state, I could just say kill -9 on each one of them, but because there's a few of them, I could just say, okay, grep out my own grep first. So the list is smaller. Now it's all VirtualBox, not that grep that I was doing on my command. And now I'm going to just say, okay, once you found that one, then just show me the process ID of those. By doing $2, you will pick up this field, all these, this column. The field 1 is Wahid, and the process ID is, the owner is the field 1, and the process ID is field 2. So in this case, I have it on the list, and then I could put it into a while statement, while read, and then I could just make this screen a little bit bigger so I could put all in one line, while read PID. So I have the PID, and then I put a do statement because of the while statement. Then I say something like killing and process ID, and then just $PID, and then I just do that one, and then say kill -$9. I could do this PID and within this braces. It's better because if something in this case is not gonna make sense because it's the number is there. But if you have extra character that you want to put after that variable or something, then that brace is going to help you not identify that variable correctly. So at this time I'm going to say done, and now we just did that one. So notice the VirtualBox things that was there, everything is gone. Now if I just run the same command here again, it's nothing. If I run with VirtualBox and then grep out my grep, nothing. And echo $successful is there, and good. So now the command I'm going to do is up arrow and use that dpkg command. Let's go back to that right here. So that command is already there. I'm on the download directory, and it's going to try to install it this time. It's gonna find the package. It says yes, I found it. And then it's unpacking 6.1, but notice the subversion 6.134, and so far so good. This the dpkg error processing package virtual 6.1 installed. Dependency problem leaving unconfigured. So whenever there's some dependencies, then you have to use apt with -F for fixing the skipping dependencies, and then install, and that should take care of that problem. But notice this error, if you just ignore it, you will have some issue because of the dependencies. And so I will show you what command you need to run to fix that problem. once this one is completed. I'm gonna just pause the video for a second to see if this one gonna take longer. I'm going to give it time. Okay, as you can see that there's one error for dependency error processing packages, and the last error also says error were encountered while processing VirtualBox 6.1. So I'm going to do the sudo apt-f install, see if that dependencies is fixed first, and we say yeah, go ahead, and it says that the following package will be removed. It just says that this is what is going to happen, and then we just say yeah, go ahead, do that one, see how it's going to fix that problem. And then removing VirtualBox 6.134, 50% done. And you can see that these packages that were there were automatically installed. Some of the lib double dash conversion and so on, all of those ones were done. On this one, we are going to just basically follow some of the recommendation for the auto remove things, because we want to make sure that the previous version was removed successfully there with all the dependencies, broken dependencies. So I'm going to say sudo apt, and then after that one is auto removed. Auto remove, actually not removed, it's auto remove, because all the dependencies will be cleaned up for it. And again, this is gonna take a little bit time, or it may be fast enough this time, but we just have to be patient. Okay, so the packages are being auto removed, the dependencies. And then since we don't have a VirtualBox, if I just say apt list VirtualBox, you will see that that is still saying done. That did not give me anything with the package. But let's see, we say dpkg -l VirtualBox, and then we look at that one with -s, and then look at it with -l, uppercase L, to list the files, and notice the files are not there. So that means that we haven't installed it there. And then the one, when I do the -l here, normally if it was installed, you will get something like installed already. We did it in the past, you can see from the output of that one. So let's just do the directory here one more time with using sudo and then debian pkg, and then -i or dash install, and then this time I'm going to use the -i, which is the same thing as -i. It's shorter form, so I'm going to virt, since we have a VirtualBox -6 there, I'm going to do tab, and yeah, that's the one. And then I forgot the K here, debian pkg. Sun Solaris and Mac has pkg command for installing as a package manager. They also have on Sun Solaris and the Spark, we also have package add, package remove, package install, package check, and package param, all those other package related things. But pkg does all of those as well on both Spark and Intel platform. You can use that one. So this time it still says that error processing package VirtualBox 6.1, And then sometimes if you do still see this one and it errors out at some point, then like I was mentioning, the Oracle website that is there for the version that we were looking at, it was for 20.04 was there, but not for 22.04. And sometimes those dependencies may just be not met yet, and so as a result you have to install the 6.1.32 rather than 6.1.34, at least this is a stable one, because 6.134 32 that is in the repository, it has all the dependencies met, and this version 6.1.34 may not have the dependencies met, but we will have to check on that one right now, see what's going on. So same issue again with the package manager, saying that the version that is there and the dependencies is not met, and it says error while I'm going to just go to the website and just look at the VirtualBox. Let's see, virtualbox.org. When you go to the virtualbox.org, you have this big download page that you can click on, or you just click on this download page. This one is going to take you to the version that's available for every platform. So I'm going to go Linux distribution here, and let me just make this screen a little bit bigger. The version that is for the Debian, you can see 21.04 is available also, but not 22.04. So I'm going to get this one because this one is up to 21.04. Maybe that might be a good one to just look at. And then this one, it is getting installed, and so while this one is getting installed, let me just minimize the window here a little bit. Okay, so that's okay. So this is I'm going to minimize this window, and then on the download directory we see that what we have here is two versions of it. As this one is a tilde rather than underscore, because it looks like we still have to acknowledge it to just say go ahead, accept it. Let me go to the browser again. And the one that I downloaded was for Ubuntu, this one, and this is the version, and then I show all downloads. So the Debian version, and this is the other one, that version 1. Looks like it is already completed. Let me just verify that against the name here. Clear the screen and let's minus LTR, and there's a tilde dot and this, even though the name is there, and then the temp, let me see, clear the screen, and let's minus L virtual this. So the one is there. They're all the same size except the first two, and 979, exactly same size. And I'm going to just remove the number 1 star, circle 1, and then star. So not the delete, that's the del is Linux command or Windows command. So I'm gonna say rm.file, and then oops, I just deleted everything because of that asterisk. Just did not clear it, but I don't need it, so I'm going to just none of those ones, or will wipe out anyway. So let me clean this one and then just go back here, and this time I'm gonna click on the version 19 Oracle, this one. This one is gonna download the version that I need right here, and going back here on this one, you can tell right now I have that downloads the Debian there. So this is the file that I need, and let's see if this one is good enough for this installation. Clear my screen, pwd ls-l, and then I'm gonna say sudo su dash, and then not I don't undo it sudo. I'm going to just say sudo apt list, and let's say VirtualBox first to make sure that VirtualBox is not installed. Yeah, it is showing the other version 6.132. So I could just undo that one and install it, and get a fresh installation from this other package there. Let's just do that one. I'm gonna, because it's 6.134, I may have to just not delete it, but I'm going to try to delete the other one since we're upgrading it. Sometimes if that previous version was already there, on top of it you can upgrade, like on Windows you can do that one, and this one should do that as well. And then sudo, I'm going to do apt remove VirtualBox first. Last time it was not doing all the dependencies correctly. Fix broken installed thing to correct these. So there's already a broken stuff. So let's see. We're going to try this one first. We'll say apt dash dash fix dash broken, and then VirtualBox install, and then VirtualBox. The argument, we may not have to do the argument here. So by doing this up arrow, this, and then just try and that one. Dash F for fix broken install was the last time. That's what I did, and the app dash F and then install. That fixes all the broken install, and then we will just see if we can remove it, because sometimes when you're having the application run and you're in a running state, some of the libraries are still shared, and that's maybe the reason that you cannot just without closing the VirtualBox you cannot remove it. That's just how dynamic link library works. If it is loaded into the memory and it's shared by some process, those processes will stay there. That's why I had to kill those processes, and it was not a clean remove. So those libraries had to be first not shared and not accessed at that time. So the recording is going on here now. I'm going to just run the command here to list it again. And by listing it to see if it was still showing out, okay, residual, that means it's on the conf list, but it is not in there on the system. So I'm going to look at the VirtualBox here, clear my screen, pwd ls-l. I'm going to just basically do a sudo and dpkg-i for install VirtualBox, and then tab it and then press enter. And this should install the 6.134 with some dependencies not meeting, and then that's okay. But if it errors out, then the version that is 6.1.34 may not be compatible for Linux Red Hat 22 point, not the Linux, Ubuntu 22.04, and then I have no choice but to just live with 6.132 for a while. Let's see how this one is going to work. Right now it just says that virtual host with the DKPG error processing some of the package for 6.1.1, which we can fix it with the dash F option of apt install. But if at this time it hangs, and then it just locks up and fails again with some error processing, and then we know that maybe the version that is available on the VirtualBox Ubuntu, like they have already highlighted, they didn't list 22.04. Since it's not there, we could try it, and if it fails, we know that okay, the 22.04 is not available on their support list. But let's see how that works. We're just moving too fast based on what is available. We're not. We're doing it something that Ubuntu 22.04 came in on last month on April 21st, and it's a long-term support for 5 years, as I said in the past. And then this one, I'm testing it to see if the latest version that is available on VirtualBox website or Oracle website. If they're not up to date, then yeah, that's the version that we get 6.1.32. Error were encountered while processing VirtualBox. So it went to the same issue. This time I'm going to just type in the command to say okay, sudo apt -f install, and then try to make those fix the broken ones. But notice that this package will be removed, and I say go ahead, remove it, and I just don't need it. I'm gonna just install 6.1.32, and that's the one that works with the repository of apt. So instead of using the Debian package to install this local .debian file that we downloaded, we don't use this one, we use the one that's available in the repository. So once this one is done, I still have to do the last step of reinstalling the 6.1.32 from the repository, Ubuntu repository in this case, which is the etc apt/release.list file that we looked at it earlier. So while this one is going on here, I'll leave this window here. I'll just open another tab here, and then this window is on this side, and then the tab is on this side. I'm going to do Control Plus on the tab also, so you will see a bigger screen here. And then I'm going to minimize this window because I don't need it anyway. And then at this time, in fact, I'm going to just close the entire thing. I just don't need all these resources to be hogged by something that I don't use. So right here, if I just do a check on the previous command, it is at 50%. On this one, I'm going to do run the apt list VirtualBox, and still this is the state that we don't know if it is going to finish this part. So this information is here, but I want to show you that etc apt and then sources dot list, and then by doing a command like grep -v and then encore pound, I'm just saying don't show me what is commented. So this is all the repository that's available for me to do it. If I just don't do the -v, everything that is commented, all those ones, but I'm interested on the uncommented one, so -v will just do that one. You can also do a sudo apt edit -sources to edit that file. So you have to just if you want to edit that file, basically it tells you that what file do you want to open it for, and vim is default is fine. I love vim. That's visual interpreter improved, vi improved. So this one is just telling me all that depository that are not having the pound this symbol, and you can see that it is there. If you just modify this file, you can just make sure that you add some repository, and then that repository contains the files or packages that you want from whatever website. Then you can do search for it. So if I do apt by itself, you notice that apt is going to be very intuitive, saying that you did not give me any argument. Do you want to search for something? Do you want to list it? Do you want to show it? All the details are going to be there. So these options that are here, most used commands, under the arguments, this is actually not commands, it's arguments to the apt command. So you can do apt space list. Every word is there's a space in between them. So apt space list and then out apt space search and followed by the package name and so on. So now if I just do I did the list and I want to do a search and show command. We did the install. We could do a reinstall also to just do it. The auto remove all the unpackage all the unused packages, all the unused packaging, meaning that the dependencies that are not needed there. So at this time, let's come back to this screen first, and that the screen is done. I'm going to do the same command here, apt list virtualbox, and it says that residual, that means it's not installed, it is available for us. And if I just say which VirtualBox, it is not there, that means that we don't have it. So we can go ahead and install it from the repository. And the way you do it is, if you want more detail of it, let me just make a little bit more screen more bigger and clear my screen and then say which VirtualBox it doesn't have it. And if I just do list that, it's not there. But now I'm going to do apt search VirtualBox. If I do the search, it's going to search on the VirtualBox all the packages and other dependencies package that are there. It is going to list those ones. If I do a pipe more, I can go one screen at a time. We did the search. I'm going to do the show to see the details of the actual package name. So this is equivalent to the virtual dpkg and dash s for the status, and then you can see the VirtualBox information here. You can also do the same thing with dpkg-s for status of VirtualBox, and then that would be the same page, but you have to do a pipe more to read that information there. So whether you use this command and dpkg-s VirtualBox or this command and this show, that it will give you the same thing. Like if I just press enter, you see that the same information is there. But 6.132 is there, so I'm going to do sudo apt install VirtualBox, and then this will just go to the repository. It's gonna say, oh, we have 6.132, and then do you want to install it? I say yes, go ahead and install that one, and it's gonna install it successfully. Then it's gonna bring up the VirtualBox, because all the dependencies from the apt advanced packaging toolkits will be met by the advanced packaging tool client front-end software that does apt-get, apt-cache, query it and everything, and then it finds out the dependencies. As you can see, it is right now meeting all the dependencies and installing it. And after this is completed, we will have version of 6.1.32 running. Maybe I will check later to see if next month or next few months or next few weeks, and the 6.134 for Ubuntu 22.04 is also available, and then we can meet all the dependencies. Notice that the setting comes in because it's right here is trying to configure the VirtualBox. When this is done, this setting is going to have, right now it has the text VirtualBox, not the icon of, and now it's changed to a VirtualBox icon. So it's 99%. It's almost ready to just check it out. At this time, I'm going to just wait for a few more seconds, and that a few more seconds, sometimes I have seen on systems that the 99% takes much longer because it has to close all the end of files and all the cleaning up and just removing it. Usually when it says 99%, on some system it's very fast, but some of them are kind of like it has to do a lot of dependencies, so that 99% may take a little bit longer. I just want to make sure that I was recording it. I click here and then I click on the pause. Yeah, so it is recording right now. It's available for recording, and should be coming any time soon. And then on this window now, since I have installed it, if I just do apt clear apt list VirtualBox, it is not going to say residual, it says installed, but this is still in the progress. This thing is not done. Let's see. Once this one is done, we just up arrow here and do it, and it will just say it is installed. So this is still trying to close all the, see the shared no MIME info, that is there, that all the triggers, everything, and then no menus, everything. So it has to be done. These two dots is done 99% to 100%. Okay, I just passed that stage, and let's see if we get that. Right now we get a command here, and if I just up arrow here, it says it's installed now. It's still not saying that installed, but here it is there. So let's see, and we go in dpkg-l, and then we say VirtualBox, and then see the output of dpkg. No package found VirtualBox. So let's see what is this one is going to tell us. Sudo list apt list, and then virtual. Maybe I typed on the other one, the VirtualBox, differently. Yeah, so the name, if you type it incorrectly, maybe I just typed it. Oh yeah, VirtualBox, I typed it wrong. VirtualBox, that's why. And this one should show, and then the other one also, Dependency Virtualbox, it should show there. So that this regard to which command, if you type it correctly with the name, it will show that it is there. And here that is showing, and then if I just do the dpkg-l virtual box, it will just tell me that it's installed. So now this is done. Let's just open up the VirtualBox here, minimize my window here, and now you see that it is already available for me to just go ahead and do it. And then in order for me to go ahead create virtual machine and everything, I'm gonna just start off with Windows 10 operating system on this VirtualBox, and then test it out, and then I will just start off those VMs, and just to show you that how easy it is. Now we have the version that's available, and then the version that we have is 6.1, and then a subversion is 6.132. So this one is ready. All I have to click is new here, and then I type in on the name of the operating system that I want to do it, Windows 10. Windows 10 operating system, and by default it's 64-bit. I just know that my system is 64-bit. Uname minus A is the detail. It's x86 64-bit for architecture and hardware. So minus high for hardware, and then minus P for platform. It is 64-bit, and then uname minus O is the uname minus O for the GNU Linux, and it is 64-bit. So I'm going to just come back here and say go ahead, continue with this. So it says 2 gig, and that's fine. I'm just going to use the default one. Create a virtual hard disk, and then go with the default for everything. VDI virtual disk image, and then dynamically allocated, yes. And then the size of the hard disk is 50, and it creates it under home Wahid virtual VMS. So that is as easy as that. You just created it, and you can spin off this one by just saying start, and then you go to select your ISO image from the DVD that you downloaded. So I'm going there, and I just click on the downloads, and then under downloads, actually I don't have it, I just deleted earlier, so I'm going to just have to download that one from Microsoft. And let me just cancel this one right now, and then I'll just download the image, and then I'll get this thing moving again. But right now I'm going to and just power it off at this stage. I could save the stage, it's fine, or power off. I haven't done any work on it, and either case is okay. So I'm gonna go here and then look for Microsoft page for downloading the ISO image. If you open a browser, while the browser is loaded, and I could just say go to google.com, for example, and on Google I'm going to say Microsoft Windows 10 google.com. Sometimes these extra characters are coming because of spamming. Somehow it just misunderstood the word Google, and it kicked me into some junk, which I didn't want to do that. So here google.com, and then I'm going to just look under the google.com for Windows 10 ISO download. And by clicking on this one, you just actually get from Microsoft, you have to get the disk from Microsoft. So I'm going to use the first link that comes in from Microsoft. I'll look for it. And then here I select the version of the Windows 10, and then I say confirm. So I already selected that one. Now I'm going to choose the English one, United States, and then I confirm that one. It's gonna go to the next page where it says download 64-bit. Yes, I don't need 32-bit because my operating system is 64-bit. I'm going to get that one, but if 64-bit doesn't work for you, maybe you could try 32-bit also, or maybe just look at the operating system, what you have there. So while this one is downloaded, I'm gonna go to Google again and just say www.google.com. I just go to that site, and then this time I say download Rocky Linux 8.5. So if I just click on this one, it takes me to the Rocky website here, rockylinux.org. And just click on download. So the one that is there, 64-bit, they have a minimum for DVD and for other ones. So I'm going to get the DVD version for Linux Rocky, and this is the one that I'm going to download. So on the current directory, if I just click on check on the downloads directory, the ISO image for the Windows is coming down, but Rocky is also coming down. So at this time, if I just say disk usage minus sh, Rocky star, and then Windows star, both of those two will be listed. As you can see, the Windows I started first, that is already 1.1 gig, but those the partition files, or whatever it is called, it will come in parts, but then eventually will just be written into the ISO file, and then the name of ISO file will just increase, and this file will just disappear. So you will have a .iso file, and you can see that the size is growing as we do. If you want to just get the status of that command like we did here, and you say, well, I want to just see how much time it takes for each one of them. The one Rocky is about 10 gig, and then the Windows is about 5.5 gig. You could do while true on Linux, and then say do and run that command there, and then say sleep 1 second or 2 seconds, and within 2 seconds date, and then you can see that how much is done within 2 second window. You can see every 2 seconds is point of a gig is done, 0.1 of a gig. And then the time stop, it tells you that every 2 seconds it changes. So this is something that you could just say, well, when it is all the way done 10 gig, then these files will shrink, and it just instead of saying ISO, it will just do that. I'm gonna quickly actually pause the video here, because we want to just make sure that the file gets downloaded. Then we start off the installation, and then after that one I'll stop the recording. I want to point out one thing that's very important here, that when you're downloading from a source to your destination with your local computer, and you have the same Ethernet and network is the same, even though I started Windows 10 first, Rocky second. Rocky was done maybe like less than 10 second or 20 second later or something, or maybe half a minute later, but it's still Rocky is ahead of Windows. That is not just because the Rocky is rocking. It is just because the destination, the source where I'm downloading it from, is closer in distance wise, and so sometimes that is the Ethernet cables, or just going to a shorter route in order to just get the download. So every packet that comes in, the acknowledgement is right away done, and then it is growing. But the good news is that Windows is almost done. Windows is about 5 something gig, and then the Rocky is about 8, 10. So when Windows is done, you will see this .part file with the ISO file renamed, and then the ISO file would be like 5.5 gig or something. And then after that one, everything will be just back to a state that the 5.5 gig is not going to change at all, and the ISO file, once it's written with that file, it is already done with ISO, and we could use that one. So at this time it's 4.7 gig. We will just give it a little bit more time, and it is at 5.5 gig. I'll just look at that screen for a second to see if I'm right or not wrong. Let's see. So it's about 4.9 gig for the .part file. It's 5 gig, and then it takes about 10 seconds. I'm going to be quiet for 10 seconds at least. So don't click on your voice, because I was not talking. On the audio, do not say, did my audio die or something? I was just not talking at that moment. Now it's about 5.5 gig now. It's going to go there. Let's see if is it 5.6 gig or larger. Yeah, 5.5 gig already. And notice that the ISO image changed for the 5.5 gig for Windows, and then the other one is still 7.6 gig, so it's growing, but the ISO image of Windows is done. So I could minimize this window and then get going with Windows 10 start, because we already did that one, and then Rocky, while it's doing it, we can do that as well. So right here I'm going to auto keyboard capture information. That's fine. I don't want to see that one. And no installable boot disk. So when you do this one, as soon as you start it, it's gonna go through the ISO image. and you have to just select the DVD. Let me see if I just say power it off first and then start it, because we didn't point to the ISO image and it's searching for ISO, and I need to just press enter or something. So it is not looking at the devices here. I'm going to try to just say choose or create an image on this, and I'm going to say add, and then this Windows 10, and then choose that file. Now this time we added it, I'm going to just try to boot it off from that one. If it doesn't go into that one, then let me just Control C out of this, because the switching thing is power off. So we start again after this is ready. Because I mounted the image, now it should read it this time, saying that okay, we found that Windows ISO image, and then it should come out to virtual machine installation for Windows 10. Let's see. You can see the Windows come up here, that's fine. So at this time it is going through the Windows installation for this one, and then we can open up this other screen. You see that is almost 10 gig, but it's still since it's 10 gig now, the ISO image already done. So I'm done with this work for the command that I was doing it here. We could do the list here, and you can see that both files are about 10 gig and everything. So the files or the ISO image are showing that ISO image CD-ROM, and that the details by using the file and then asterisk there. So if I just want to do file star.iso and disk usage minus the search star.iso, you can see that it's the Rocky is 8.5 and then the Windows is 5.5 gig. And then at this time Windows is just ready for us to continue to the next stage. So I'm going to just size this one a little bit bigger, and then that way you can see this is going on. So I'm going to say install. It is going to start up the system and go through all the installation. At the meantime, we don't have to just, because it's multi-threading, multi-processing operating system, we can run multiple processes at the same time. So I'm going to just come up here on the new, and this time I'm going to just say I want to do Linux Rocky version, Rocky. So the name of the machine that I'm going to do it, I want to put 8.5 also the version details here. That's okay. If you want to do it or don't do it, that's up to you. So I'm going to also allocate this one 2 gig. 2048 gig is fine. And then just for the create a virtual disk, yes, create a virtual disk image, virtual disk IVDI image, and then dynamically allocate it. The size of this one is giving 8 gig. No, I want to just larger, like 50 gig or at least to 100 gig. I want to play around with it with more stuff there. So let me just go to about 100 gig. You can also type in the number here that you want to say 100 gig, and that's exactly the number from the 2 terabyte. So I'm going to choose that one, and then this one is ready. Now I'm going to click on start on this one also, and I could just change the threshold of each one of them to say different size and everything on memory and different number of processors, but I'm going to go with default and see which one is going to finish faster. So host drive, this one I'm going to add the other ISO image, which is this one, Rocky. I open that one and then I choose it. Once you choose it, and then you can just click on start, and this will just go to the Rocky installation through this window. But I don't need to do a troubleshooting or testing, so I'm going to do install Rocky 8. Let me minimize this window here, and then I have this one right here, and then the Linux Windows here on the right, and Linux Rocky on the left side. So we could just do both of them here, and then I'm going to say go ahead, do that one, install it, and then go through the process. But again, the window, after you do it, you can resize it and everything. Right now I'm going to just do the minimum there. So it is going through the installation right now on Rocky here as well. Now let's see if we could just use the control character, control C. So we have the can switch, and then we go switch it and move this window here, adjust the size, and we put it almost like similar screen here, and then have this one here. So at this time one is started already, the other one is in the configuration. I don't have a product key, so I'm going to just use this. I don't have a product key because we download the ISO image. Previously I had Windows 10 on this laptop, but I rebuilt Linux Ubuntu, and I'm going to use the VM Windows home version here, as it is an ISO image that Microsoft provides. You can also try Windows 11. Windows 11 has some sort of constraint about the hardware requirements, and some of the hardware that's a little bit old, like mine is 2 years old, it does not accept it as a meeting all the constraint. Until Microsoft loosened that constraint, and then I'm just going to continue using other one like Windows 10 and Linux, CentOS, Sun Solaris, continue. I have to use those ones anyway. So I'm not having a version that I'm going to do upgrade, but I'm doing a install automated. And then this is the default information here. If I click on the format to format the drive or something, I could do that one, but since already the 50 gig that I allocated, I'm clicking next here. I don't need to just create new partition, add space to it, but at some point if I want to do it, I can do that. So this is going, maybe it is doing the checking. I didn't mean to check it. Somehow I click on the check by accident. So let me close this one. I'm going to close this one. I don't need to check the drive's status. So I'm going to say power off, okay, and then I'll just start. This is how nice it is on the server. So this is in the power off. I'm going to start it again. Since it's already on the ISO image, by powering it off, you don't save the state. So you are starting fresh. Whatever the state of the machine is, that will just start from the installation. Notice this one, it says this, and I wanted to do install Rocky Linux 8. And somehow I click on that one, test CD-ROM. I didn't want to test it, so it should be now going through the installation, and this one is moving faster than usual. So hopefully this will get going well. And the same thing with this version of Rocky. When they are all done, I'll just close them, and obviously some of the information that is asking you for emails and PIN number and password and user ID, you have to just follow those directions. It is very intuitive, very easy to follow. It is just asking you for some information, personal information, like, okay, what is your user ID, what's your password, what's your PIN numbers on each one of these platforms. You answer those ones according to your needs and what account you want to create and what email you want to use, or on Microsoft side, or what PIN you want to use, or on the Linux side if you want to give yourself sudo access, or and do you want to assign an account there, or later on you can just go to single user mode and then change the root password or something. It's all up to you how you want to do it, but it's very intuitive. The installation is very easy to do, but very easy to follow. Once this is done, and then we have two VirtualBox running on the machine. So right now you can see both of them are running, but if I click on this VirtualBox screen here, you can see it's running, but they're not completed. So I'm going to minimize this window, and those two are going to run for a long time. Sometimes could take half an hour to an hour to a few hours, and we just have to give it time to finish, and when it is done, then we have to running a state, and we will have other videos to demonstrate that one. For now, have a nice evening, whatever is left on the evening. It is Sunday night in beautiful city of Diamond Bar, California. I'm just again Wahid Lutfi. I'm providing through my web university free education videos for everyone. Love and peace for all, and I hope you all enjoy free education, and everybody should try to subscribe if you're watching it, or make comments so that I can improve it. And if you don't, that's fine too. Have a nice one. Take care. God bless you all.